Happy Christmas Eve! Welcome to my penultimate video from my 12 Bakes of Christmas. Now, hopefully you've wrapped all your presents and decorated your Christmas tree, and you might be wondering, what's left to do? Well, add this recipe to your list because Christmas ain't Christmas without a Yule Log. And this recipe is a lighter version of a Yule Log. It's still really decadent, but it's not gonna be really overpowering and heavy. It's my mint chocolate chip Yule Log, and it is really delicious. And all Yule Logs start with a sort of Swiss roll sponge. So I've got my Swiss roll pan already lined and greased, and now I need to get on with my ingredients. I've got 65 grams of plain flour and 40 grams of cocoa powder, along with a pinch of salt. I also have 100 grams of caster sugar in this bowl, and in these two bowls I have 4 large eggs which I've separated into yolks and whites, and I'm going to add a third of the sugar to the whites and whisk those up really stiff and glossy. Now the reason we're doing it like this is because I'm not using any raising agents in the sponge, so this egg white and the egg yolk is going to add all the air to the sponge. All right, lovely and stiff. You can see it's got very stiff peaks. And now I'm just going to whip up my egg yolks with the rest of the sugar until they're really pale. I've been whipping that for about 5 minutes now, and as you can see, it's gone really pale and mousse-like. So now I need to get all these things together without knocking all the air out. And the way that I'm going to do that is starting with a little bit of the egg white, and that's going to loosen up this thick, glossy mixture. Now that it's a bit looser, I'm going to add the flavour, and this is where the mintiness comes in. I've got some really nice peppermint oil, just peppermint extract is fine, and I'm going to put in half a teaspoon of that and just stir that through. And this is where we need to start being a bit more gentle with it. So now I'm going to add half of my dry ingredients and fold it in really carefully. And once that's all mixed through, add a little bit more of the egg white, about another third. And then keep adding it a spoonful at a time, alternating between the dry and the egg whites. Now this might seem like it's taking forever, but don't rush it. It's really important that you're gentle with this because you don't want to knock all the air out. Now all you need to do is put it into your pan and level it out. If you don't have a special Swiss roll pan, you can just use a baking tray with sides, but you do need to level it out carefully because it won't just do it by itself in the oven. And now it just needs to be baked at 180 degrees for 7 to 8 minutes. So my Swiss roll came out of the oven and it's still warm. While it's still warm, I am going to roll it, and that's going to prevent cracking when it comes to rolling it for real. So I have a piece of greaseproof paper on my counter that's slightly bigger than my actual cake, and I'm going to tip the whole thing out onto it. And I'm peeling off the original greaseproof paper. I'm just going to get rid of that. Before I start rolling it, I'm going to trim the edges off with a sharp knife just so that it's nice and neat when I roll it. And I'm going to roll it with the paper kind of inside the roll, and that's going to prevent it from sticking to itself. And I'm going to leave that to cool completely in the roll shape and get on with making the stuff that goes on the outside, which is a really lovely light white chocolate ganache. I've already got some melted chocolate here. I've got 150 grams of white chocolate, which I melted over a bain-marie. And I've got this double cream, which I brought almost to the boil, so it's just started to bubble, and I'm going to add that to the chocolate. Now, this is a bit similar to my white chocolate ganache recipe that I've done before, and if you want to see the video for that, then click on the link. But because I wanted it to be much lighter, I've put a bit more cream in, so I've got 100 grams of cream in this. Normally it's a 3-to-1, but I've kind of upped the cream on this. And I'm just going to mix that all together until it's all kind of homogeneous. Now, right now, it's not really worthy of being put on a delicious chocolate Yule Log. So what needs to happen now is it needs to go into the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes, and that's going to cool it down and set it a little bit, and then I can whip it up nice and light. My Swiss roll is nice and cool, and so now I'm going to get on with the filling while my ganache is chilling out in the fridge. So I have 175 millilitres of double cream, and to that I'm adding a tablespoon of caster sugar and half a teaspoon of peppermint extract. And I'm gonna whip that up till it's nice and soft peaks. There's a lot of whipping in this recipe, but stick with it. And now I need to put that into my sponge. So I'm going to unravel this guy. It will have stuck to the paper a little bit, but that's okay. It will come away really easily. And then I want all that cream on my Swiss roll. Now you'll notice that I'm not going all the way up to the end. I'm leaving about 2.5 centimetres, and that way when I roll it, it's not all going to smush out the bottom. And now for the chocolate chips. I've just got some dark chocolate chips, which I chopped up even more to be nice and small, and I'm going to sprinkle them all over the top. And now it's time to roll this guy up. So I'm going to use the paper that it's on already to kind of help me with it, but at the same time unpeel it from that. And while you can still handle it, because the next bit's going to be covered in ganache, put it on something that you're going to serve it on so that you don't have to move it anymore. Now my ganache has come out of the fridge, it's all cool, and so I need to make this into something really yummy and spreadable, and all that takes is a whisk. So I'm just going to whisk that for about 5 minutes, and it's going to be really nice. So as you can see, it is completely unrecognisable now, and it looks absolutely delicious. So before I start, I'm just going to neaten up the ends of my Yule Log because they're a little bit scrappy at the edge. So just with a sharp knife, take off about 1/2 centimetre. And now all I need to do is cover my Yule Log with that yummy ganache, and I'm going to do that with a palette knife. And now I just need to finish this off with some Christmassy sprinkles. And there it is, my super light mint choc chip Christmas Yule Log. And it's Christmas Eve, guys, so you better get yourselves ready and maybe leave a slice of this out for Santa. I get some brownie points, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I'll be back tomorrow with my final bake of the 12 bakes of Christmas. So until then, sleep well, be good, and happy Christmas Eve.